v'halacha v'omer halacha b'shem Imra. What is the halacha? Rabbi Eliezer. Who's the one who said the halacha? Rabbi Eliezer. Omer egla bashnasa. The calf that has to be slaughtered. In this incident where we found a dead person and we don't know on which city to put the responsibility. So you have to slaughter this calf and you have to measure from the dead body to the closest city. And the scholars from that city have to come out and say, we didn't spill this blood. And there's a commemoration that has to be done. So that's the egg law of the calf, is bas shnasa. Upara bas tayim. A para has to be 2 years old, the cow. Omar lefanenu. Omar lefanav. So Moshe said before God, oh, please, God, Ribon Ha'olamim, Yehi Ratzain, may it be your will that this person, Sheyetze Michalotza, this person should come out of my loins, out of me, this Rabbi Eliezer. Because God was saying a halacha in the name of Rabbi Eliezer. Sure, the halacha came from God himself, but who revealed it to the world? Through the Talmud. And this is starts a parak in the Talmud, these two halachas of Eglah and Porah. Omar lo, so God said to Moshe, Chayecha, by your life, Shehu Michalotzecha, you're so wondrous about my learning this chapter and my mentioning Rabbi Eliezer. And Moshe says, oh, please, God, this is going to be in the future when Rabbi Eliezer is going to be born. He said, please, God, may this Rabbi Eliezer come from my progeny, from my descendants. Amalo, God said to Moshe, Chayecha shehu michalotzecha. He will come from you, from your loins. Hadahu dichsiv b'shem echad Eliezer. That Moshe had two sons, Gershom and Eliezer. And Eliezer descended from Moshe's Eliezer. And if you find in the shots that Rabbi Eliezer was a Levi, so he came from Moshe, who was a Levi. And Moshe's son was Eliezer, the second one. Ches. Sha'al goy echad es Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. Everybody knows Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. He's one of the greatest Tanoim. And a goy, a scholar, but a non-Jewish scholar, asked him, Elon Avdaya be'atun avdin nirin kimin shafim. Hey, your whole involvement with this cow, this paraduma, that it's got to be all red and can't have two black hairs in it. And I saw a video that there is a place that has about 7 of them. There are paradomas, and so we don't have to worry that when Mashiach comes, we'll have a paradoma. And but we have to wait for that. And but this guy says, "Hey, what are you Jews doing? You don't believe in magic, and you're doing black magic here with this Torah business. You kill the Torah, and you mix its ashes with the water and a hyssop, and you sprinkle it on people, and this is what the guy say. Ata maybe in Torah, you bring a cow, the surfing, and you burn him to pieces. The kaichin, you make sure that the body is pressed so it should be all ashes. V'noiklin esafara, you take the ashes from this mixture. Ve'echad mikem mitame lamesh. And one of you who is has touched a dead person or been under the roof together with a dead person. And all of us in our time have probably, if you were in the hospital or that you've been in under the, if you haven't actually been with the mace, but you went to the hospital, there are morgues, and you're under the roof with the morgues, and it's too much oil. And so we all have to undergo this sprinkling, but it's not a very difficult process. But this is what you do, and it looks like magic. Mazin olav, shtayim b'shalosh tipin. You throw on him 2 or 3 drops. That's all. That's all that he's going to get when we spray on the tomei lamesh. V'atem oimrim loi. And you tell him, Tarta, you become pure. Come on, he says, the guy says to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. You're, I don't know, you Jews deal with black magic. This whole thing sounds like black magic. So now Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai has to answer this non-Jewish scholar who says, you Jews are never involved with black magic, and here in this case you are. What's the deal? Amalo, he has to give him an answer. Lo nichnasa b'cha ruach tazazis miyamecha. Did you ever get a spirit of wildness in your life that you were upset about everything and you went crazy? Amalo, he said, no, I never had this wild disease of chazozis. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai went further, and he said, Amalo, Amar Hen. Oh, he's like this. He said, did you ever see anybody? Ra'isa Adam Shenichnasa ba Ruach Chazazim. Did you ever see a guy who went crazy with this disease, Chazazi, the spirit of Chazazi, which is a spirit of wildness? one of this real chazazis. Have you ever witnessed a person who was possessed by a spirit of madness? Guy went mad. Sugar. Okay, so I never experienced it myself. He says, but so Rabbi Yochanan is like I said, did you see anybody who ever had this problem? He says, yeah, I did see a guy who had this craziness enter him. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said, Amar lo, he asked him, Uma atem osin lo. What do you do to get the spirit of craziness out of this guy who went nuts? Amar lo, mevi'en ikrin. Hashem, we bring certain spices and ma'ashanim tachtav, and we burn these spices under him. Oh, marbitzin alav mayim, and we throw water at him. So under him, we have a fire going. He's sleeping on a bed that has holes in it, and he's not being burned. But he's getting his smoke and ashes on his back and water on his body. Vihi boreches, and the spirit escapes. What do you again? What do you do? Yochanan ben Zakkai asked, "What do you do for him?" So he says, "Mabin ikrin, we bring certain spices. Ma'ashanin, we smoke those spices tachtav under him, and marbin marbichin alav mayim, and we sprinkle him with water. Ve'ivlachas, and that's how we get the spirit out of him, and it leaves." So he says, so Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said to this guy, this non-Jew, asked the question, what are you guys doing with this Torah Duma? You're like doing magic, and you never do magic, you're Jews. So, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai told me, you see, it's not magic, you do the same thing. When a guy has a spirit of wellness comes into him, you want to get it out, you burn an incense under him, you sprinkle the water on top of him, and you obviously say some words, and the spirit goes out of him and it's fake. So what are you telling us? Listen to your own words. Okay. So so now the non-Jew got understood. He said they do it too. And they're not accused of doing black magic. When this non-Jewish scholar left the premises of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, the students of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who heard this give and take between their rabbi and the non-Jewish scholar about the Torah, that it's not magic, if you do the same thing and you're not accused of magic, this is how you get the bad spirit out. And here we're talking about a person who's been in touch with the dead, and he has bad spirits in him, and we got to get it out. And it gets out through the essence of the Torah. So the Talmidim said, Rebbe, please. You knocked this guy's question off with a reed, with a long grass. Like, yeah. But what are you going to tell us? What's this whole thing, Tucker? There's this opportunity. Tell us about the Paraduma. Omru Talmidov Rabbeinu, our rabbi. Lazed Achisa Bekona. You answered him like, very easily. And you gave him this explanation that they do the same thing and it's not called black magic. Well, what did you tell us? What is this whole business of Paraduma? Omar Lahem. So Rabbi Yechon ben Zakkai said to them, Chayechem, you should know by your lives. Lo ha-meis mitame. The maze doesn't have any special tumor. The lo ha-mayim mitadim. And the water, you go to the mikveh, or you have this water sprayed on you, it doesn't make you tahar. What's the deal here? Elo Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is a gezerah from the God Almighty. Chuka chokakti. I made a statue. I engraved a statue in the Torah. This law, it doesn't have any logic to it. But it's a law that I made. And Gzeira Gazarti. I made this law and I proclaimed this edict that this is how you have to purify the dead. It's beyond us to understand. It's a statue that God made. And you can't pass over my edict. You can't not do it. It's my word. That's what the Tumen Torah is. I ordained it, and therefore you got to follow it. And that's like with all the laws. Chuka chokakti, a chok, a statute, I engraved. Gzeira gazarti, an edict, I rendered. The iaton shoy, you can't transgress it. So that's what the whole thing of Tumen Torah is. It is not understandable. And what is understandable is that the Supreme Being told the Jews, and this is a law to the Jews, that if you touch a dead person or you're in the same room as a dead person, you become Tomei. And how does the Tomei leave you? By sprinkling the ashes of the Paraduma on you. And what is this? There's no logic to it. It's my desire and my law, and you can't transgress it. And this is the same thing with all the laws. Kashrus is a chukah. It's not a help. It's for help. although usually kosher foods are healthier than all the other foods. Kosher meats, kosher chickens are usually healthier and how they're prepared. But that's not why we do. We do it because God commanded it. And now, okay. And God says, that's what I said. Zos Chukat Torah. This is the statute. And just because it doesn't appeal to Seichel, tough. It's higher than Seichel, but it comes from me, your maker. And I want only what's good for you. So this is a law that I made, and you can't transgress it. Now the Midrash asks a question. Why? This is a very important question. I alluded to it before. Umipnei ma Umipnei ma kol korbanos are schorim. Every korban, korban toda, korban shlomim, every korban Pesach is a male. There's only one exception that you take a female, and what is it? The Torah Aduma. So we asked this question, Upnei ma kol hakarbonos zecharim. All the korbanos are male cows. You know, the whole thing of carbonos will become clear to us when Mashiach comes. We don't understand. The Zohar says, Raza de Kurbana, the secret of the carbonized, Allah and Raza Dain Sof. It is bound up with the actual mysticism of God's existence. We don't understand this. We understand the existence of God, but we don't understand the essence of God. Anyway, the Korbanos are bound up with the essence of God. Rosa de Korban Oilad Rosa Dain Sof. It goes up, the Zohar says, to the level of God's Ein Sof, unending. So he has to give an answer, though. Why are all the other korbanos chachem? V'zeu l'keivo Omar. Rabbi Avo gives the answer. Marshal Leben Shivcha. This is an analogous to a daughter of a maidservant. Shatina Palkin Shel Melech. This is analogous to a son of a shivcha who dirtied up the whole palace of the king. Marshall, then this is analogy. In other words, he's answering, why does it have to be a female? So he says, Omar, Rabbi Avo, Marshall ben Shivcha. this is analogous. You want an answer? This is analogous to a shivcha shetina. Fountain Michel Benai, the son of the shivcha, stunk up, dirty the whole palace. So who should clean it up? Omar HaMelech. You know what? Tavai Imai. Let's the mother go. The Titna. Let she clean up. As Haitza what her son did. He has to clean up. The mother has to clean up. And that's that's the mashal. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hey, Tavai Para, let the Para come with the Chaper al the Maisa Egel. What happened by the golden calf? So the mother, just like the mother of a shivcha, who stinks up the mother of a boy. The shivcha is the mother. And she has a boy who stunk up the whole palace and dirtied it. Who should clean it? She should clean it. So God says that's exactly what the Indian of Paraduma is. Let the mother come and be machaper what the Jews did with the Egel Zohar. And again, we always ask the question of the Egel HaZohar. We find that only 3,000 people were killed that served it, and 2 million Jews. And Moshe says, Mila Semilayim, they killed the people who served Egel. But it's the whole people of the Jewish people are guilty of the Egel HaZohar. Why? And the answer is because you got to say the Jews are responsible. They should not have let it happen. And they're letting it happen. I don't want to get involved and teach them they shouldn't do this. Yes, it was dangerous to get involved. Hur, the son of Miriam, got involved and wanted to stop the people from serving the golden calf, and they killed him. So it was dangerous. But nonetheless, the majority of Jews would have threatened them and told them, you're having a bad nightmare, and we got to get rid of this whole responsibility of a golden calf. What we should learn next. Okay. Okay, the next parsha is on page Yud Aleph. Well, actually, it's Tes, and it's on Yud. And God tells Moshe, Tes, Kach es hamata v'hishkiso es ha'eda. This is where Moshe gets messed up. Take the stick and get the water out of the rock, and the people were thirsting. The es the Ada and their cattle. And so the Midrash says, "Mikan she'Hakadosh Baruch Hu chas al memoinam shel Yisrael." We see from here where God says to get the water out of the rock to quench the thirst of the people and the animals. By God saying the animals means that God cares for the Mamayim Shel Yisrael, the properties of the Jews. And so he was interested in saving all of them. And Moshe was told to take the stick. Interesting, I would say. Have you ever found a cow who's an atheist or an agnostic? I hate when people say dumb animals. Dumb animals. There are psukim throughout the Torah that the animals wait for their food from God. Hakfirim shuagim la'achlam la'achlam v'vakesh melukim la'achlam. The lion cubs want their food and they ask of God to give it to them. They know where they're getting their food. It's only stupid individuals who can't bring themselves to believe in the Creator, even though that's the whole tradition, that nothing makes itself except God. God was a melech hamromam levadoi miyos. God was king. And before time, God was king. And then he created the world, and he was king over individuals in the world. But and the name of the game of life is get close to God. And what do you get close to God? By learning the Torah. So, Vayakilu Moshe v'Aaron Eshakaho, Moshe and Aaron gathered together all the people, El Pnei Hasela, to the face of the rock. Are you talking about 3 million people that can see one rock? V'chein hu omer, and that's what it says in the pasuk. Re'eh kol Moed Hakel El Pesach Oil Moed, gather them to the opening of the Oil Moed. Melamed שכל אחד ואחד ראה עצמו עומד על פני הסלע. Every one of the Jews in that time that saw the miracle of the water coming out of the stone were there. That's a miracle. You have 3 million people around one stone. וכן כשעברו את הירדן, when the Jews went over the Yarden, got split for them, נכנסו כל ישראל, the whole Jewish people, בין שני בדי הארם. They walked through, all the Jewish people, to the poles of the Aram, the ark. שנאמר, ויאמר יהושע על בני ישראל, דשו הנה ושמעו את דברי, come close to me and listen to my words. Yehoshua said, את דברי Hashem, hear God's words. וכאן כל ישראל עומדים ורואים כל ניסים, all the miracles שבסלע that were going to happen with the rock. הסתכלו, they began to say, יודע משה חוק הסלע. Moshe knows the nature of the rock. אם הוא מבקש יוציא לנו. If he wants, Moshe knows how to get water from the rock. If he wants, he can get water out. יודע משה את חוק הסלע. Moshe knows the nature of the rock. אם הוא מבקש יוציא לנו מים. If he wants, he can do it. Give me the water. נמצא משה עומד בספק. Now Moshe was in a big doubt. אם לשמע להם אני מבטל דברי Hamako. If I listen to them and they're saying hit the rock, I'll be and get water out. I'll be nullifying the words of God. He said, "Speak to the rock." Va'akadish Baruch Hu. Lakat Chachamim v'Armam. That's a pasuk from Eel. The wise were captured by their in their wisdom. Anyway, so we'll go on and see how far we can get. So God told them, let's see, there are 3-4 pages on this, and that's what I'm looking for on Yud, and 3 pages explain Yud in the English, but not on Yud Aleph. And so the Midrash says, Lepi, Shehoya Moshe, Mishamer, Asro. Moshe guarded himself, Kol Oison Aboim Shana, all the 40 years that he was leader. Shelo Lahakvi, Kenegdon, not to do opposite of their will. Shehoya Misyore Minash was, he was very warned about what God said. Shenishba HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that God swore that the Jews will not go into Eretz Yisrael. Shenishba HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ba'anoshim Ha'elam, these people who lived in the time of the desert, none of them got in except Yoshua and Kalev. And Moshe is waiting till the Mashiach comes, and he will go in with the generation of the Midbar. You want to get out water from a different rock, take it out of this rock. Tzanuach Alehem. He yelled at them. Hamorim, what is it? Shimona Hamorim. Shaitim, you fools. Shaitim Shitin Harbe Yoshbo. There are a lot of meanings in what he called them Hamorim. Merivin. Hamorim, jackasses, shaitim, fools, chicane, berabi, chicane, berabi, Virka Yaom Korin Lishoitim Mori. This is a thing that's held against him. He never wanted to do that, but he got angry. And he called them, listen, you're telling me to hit a rock that God didn't tell me to? Hamorim Melamdin as you're trying to teach your teachers. Hamorim, that's what Hamorim means. More kitzim, you shooting arrows. Umatzasi Hamorim, Anashim, Hamorim, the keshes. People who shoot with arrows. Vayore Moshe es yado. Moshe picked up his hand. Vayach es asela. He hit the rock. He called. Pam echad. He hit it once. He still. Asela no take. Mayin. Mu'atim. When he hit the Hitzela the first time, drops of water came out of it. A little water. Shenemar hein hikot sur. He hit the rock and water began to flow. It was false. It didn't. Wasn't enough to thirst, to quench the thirst of the whole people. We take a cup of water from it and drink and give it to its animals. Armalo Shmuel ben Amram. They said to him, Halalu Mayim Leyonke Shidayim. This is water good for little babies. Oh, Higmule Cholov, the kids who are nursing. Miyad Hikvid Kinegdon Vihiko Pamayim. And he hit it twice. The Yatsu Mayim Rabbi. A lot of water came out. Vishatru Kol Mi Shoya Meranen Kinegdom. And it drowned. It came out so much, anybody that was complaining got drowned. The water covered him. Shenemar Nacholim. Shatru. Ve'af al pi Cain lo asa Moshe ela misela shamar. He only hit the rock that he was told to talk to. Shamar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which rock he should deal with. Umenayin she'af oso sela she'amru Yisrael alav. V'chol sela v'sela v'tzror shehayu ba'oso makom hayu motziim mayim. Hey, how do you know that all the rocks that were in that place were giving out water to the people? Shenemar v'yiboker tzurim. The rocks were split. Shehayu ba'oso makom hayu motziim mayim. Shenemar Vaku Mayim Loma Nitzvas Aaron. Why was Aaron held guilty? That it was Moshe who didn't speak, who hit the rock. Shenemar Vayomer Hashem al Moshe Yan lo amantin me, because you didn't believe in me. And you didn't speak to the rock, you hit it, and they would have made a Kiddush Hashem if you had spoken to it. But why Aaron wasn't involved? Why does he get punished? Marshall and Baal Chayv. This is, this situation. Why did Aaron get punished? This is analogous to somebody who owes money. Shabbat. Ligmo, Etzlo, Gorono, Shalova. Anyone came to take away the Gorono, the silo for payment, Shalova, and not all Shalo, Vishal Shelo. He took his silo. And he took his neighbor's silo. Amalo, leave it. The guy who was supposed to pay, he told him, okay, you take my silo. Imani chayev, I owe you money. Shcheni machata, what of my neighbor sinned? They were taking away his silo. Afkach Omar Moshe Rabbeinu said, Ani Kpadati. I messed up. But Aaron, Machata, what did he do? Why is he held responsible? The Picho Hakosu Mekausoi, the Pasuk praises Aaron. Levi Amar, and that's Aaron. To the Levi, he said in the bracha, to Mecha Bu'urecha Li'ish Chasidecha, Asher Nisiso B'maso. And that pasuk is a very praiseworthy pasuk that he'll get Kohen gets the Urim and the Tumim where it holds God's name. And he's called the Ish Chasidecha, the man of the kindness. Asher Nisiso B'Maseh, that I tried him in the waters that were the Soa. Well, anyway, I have to go to shul, and I have to leave you and wish you all a good Shabbos, and we'll meet again next week. Very good. Okay.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Everybody have a very wonderful Shabbos. And listen, if you can't be in the shul, read the Parsha from Yabba Chumash. Read the Parsha in Hebrew or in English or both tomorrow. Okay. Good Shabbos.
Will do. Will do. Shabbos.
Shiur. Thank you, Rabbi.
You're all good. Good
Night.
night.